And thank you for joining us. With me is Dr. Jennifer Baker with Burrell Behavioral Health. Dr. Baker, thanks for having us by. I do appreciate it. We hear the word resiliency. We think of it as, oh, you know, grown-ups have to be resilient. Actually, that idea needs to kind of start much sooner in a person's life. Why do parents, for instance, need to really concentrate on something like that?
Well, in order to be resilient as an adult, we need to teach children to be resilient to the smaller challenges and setbacks that they experience when they're little. Because those challenges are usually more manageable, and when we become adults, the challenges are usually bigger, like if you lose a job or something like that.
So is resiliency then a learned behavior, would you say?
I believe it is. I mean, some people are just naturally more resilient than others, but all of us can grow in that, especially when we face challenges that require persistence, determination, stick-to-itiveness, when it's boring or it's not easy or uncomfortable, something like that. Yeah.
Well, what are some of the ways then that parents can help their children where resiliency is concerned?
Well, I really think it's a good idea to give them chores. They need, you know, sometimes parents don't give chores because they say, well, it's just easier to do it myself. Or they say, well, it's just so hard to get them to follow through. I believe that parents need to find a way to give children consistently tasks that are not always easy, not always comfortable, not always pleasant, but they learn to stick through those things because that's the way life is, much of life.
You know, part of life is also consequences. Consequences for our action or inaction. That's got to be very important to instill. How do you instill something like that in your children?
Well, you want to make sure you don't rescue them. So, I mean, that's one of the reasons you give chores, because then when they don't do their chores, as most certainly will happen, then you need to make sure that there are some consequences. But, you know, when they don't make the team, when they don't get a good grade on an exam or a test, when they don't get the part in the play or something, then the important thing is to say, well, what do you think you're going to do? As opposed to saying, I'm going to go talk to that teacher about that. I'm going to talk to that coach about that. You want to help the child learn the strategies and the behaviors to manage that, as opposed to rescuing them.
Because you're not always going to be there.
You're not always going to be there. As far as I know, most mothers don't go to college with their children.
Most of them, yes. Some of them do, though. No, okay. Now, you know, everybody reacts differently to input. What if your child is resistant to this sort of thing, to you know, trying to teach them about consequences? Where do you go from there?
I expect that. Most children don't get up in the morning and say, oh, Mom, please teach me about consequences today. You just need more practice. Some children, you know, maybe about 30% of them are going to be more resistant, and then that is really more of a parenting issue than it is a child issue. How do you parent a child that's more stubborn or strong-willed?
So it can be kind of a thing of, and I don't mean this literally, but physician heal thyself.
Yes.
You have to look at the parent and the child.
Right. In my many years of working with children and families, my experience is that it's more helping the parent the child than fixing the child.
All right. Well, and Dr. Baker, if people have questions about that, need more information, I'm sure they can call right here at Burrell.
They can call Burrell or Forest Institute. We're partners now, and there are opportunities and classes and therapy we have in both places.
Dr. Baker, thanks for speaking with us, and thanks for joining us on Bare Body.